in sickness, and in health, to love, cherish, and to obey.
We didn't talk about that one in counseling.
We did talk about that in counseling. Yes, we did. So you want me to repeat that again? You want to just keep going?
I think we can keep going.
All right.
When the man loses his leverage to leave the relationship, do you really think she's going to fix her behavior?
Yeah, because if she cares enough about him, she will.
What? You live in a delusion.
You
live in a dream world.
I'm not.
You live in a delusion. You live in a dream world. You're not on earth.
If you said that offended me, then me as a woman, me as your wife, me as someone who loves you, will sit there and say, I apologize, and let's move forward.
All right, so the question is, Ashley, why should men reward women, modern women, with marriage?
I think you reworded the question wrong, because I don't think marriage is a reward. I think marriage is just, for me, I'm very much a Christian person, Christian woman. So for me, marriage is about connection. So when you have, don't look at me like that. When you have I saw the video that you posted, right? And when you have the word obey, right? And you have the word like submit, I feel like a lot of women have a problem with it, because I agree with what you said. It's a trauma response. It's a response to being fed, men ain't shit. It's a response to them seeing men in their life not coming up to the plate the way they are. So it's a trauma response. You saw the Love and Basketball, right? The movie? And Sanaya Lathan and the relationship with her mom.
Yeah.
You saw how her mom is the traditional submissive wife, right? And you saw time and time again in that movie, the husband would do stuff that will neglect the small things that she would do. Like, for example, she said, oh, you cooked the whole dinner for that man. You cooked the whole dinner, 4 courses. It was a beautiful dinner. He came home with pizza. You didn't argue with that man. You didn't do nothing. You didn't stand your ground or nothing. You just put all that food away. She was in there doing her daughter's hair, and he was like, can you iron my shirt for me? Noticing that she was obviously tired. Like very tired of doing the housewife duties, very tired of doing everything. And he's still not being cognizant of that, still asked her to do something. And you know what? She replied. And she said, okay, I'll do it. Even though you can see on her face that she was tired. Interactions like that, not seeing women who are submissive, yet seeing them being stepped over, neglected, seeing them not treated right.
Let me, I'm going to pause you real quick. Mama, you said marriage is about what again?
Connection. God literally said when two become one. Wait, don't make that face when you quoted the Bible before. Like, quote the whole Bible when he said a man shall leave his family and the two shall become one.
So if it's about connection, then you hated that video and what that woman did.
Yeah, I thought
that she disrespected that man and that connection, when the pastor, after having counseling, when he said obey, she disconnected.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of things that happen.
We're not talking about Love and Basketball, Mama.
I know.
When looking at that video, she was disconnected, because at the point that the pastor said obey, she disrespected him, her family, and the church in front of millions. That got nothing to do with a movie, Love and Basketball. That's reality. In reality, she disrespected herself, her family, his family, and the church. In reality, not in movie.
I'm saying I was using that as an example to explain like why that reaction came from her. I'm not saying that reaction is right. I'm saying
don't explain it. Be angry at it, because that's your sister. The sister code that y'all forever refuse to break and continue to make unaccountable excuses for. That's your sister. She's a reflection of the state of the union today in the connection between black man and black woman. Go look at the comments. Go look at the comments underneath that video. And it's black woman after black woman praising what she did. This ain't a movie. This ain't for fake. This is for real. This is for real. So men like me take a look at that in the State of the Union, and we go the other way. We go get our passports. We withhold. Because why?
Can I say something?
Go ahead, mama.
Because my thing is like, what happens after the anger? You know what I'm saying? Because that is this conversation that we can discuss. That's why I'm bringing up examples. I'm not bringing up examples to make excuses. I'm bringing
You
up
said what happens after what?
I said what happens after the anger. That's
Anger
what
of
I'm saying.
what?
You said you were angry. You said that, this was disrespectful. And I'm not giving her excuses, but I'm saying I'm giving context. If we understand that that is a trauma response.
No. Fuck up. No, hold up. A trauma response at your wedding? Huh? How? Listen, okay, let me ask you a question. Do you think that is going to last? You think that relationship is going to last?
If they don't talk about it, then no.
What'd you say?
If they don't discuss it, if they don't sit down and have a discussion, why did you have that outburst? Then no. Why are you making that look like having a discussion like two adults can't solve something? That's what I'm saying. What do you do after the anger? What do you do after you lash out? Are you going to sit down and have a discussion?
I want to be clear because maybe I heard you incorrectly. You said if they don't talk about it, then it probably won't last.
Yeah. Because if he doesn't confront her about it and be like, okay, ha, very funny, jokey joke, I did not like that. So that's why I said, what happens after the anger? Okay, that video came out. They're going to have to go.
Do you really think? I'm going to ask you a question. Mama, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you really think at the point after marriage has happened, when the man loses his leverage to leave the relationship, do you really think she's going to fix her behavior?
Yeah, because if she cares enough about him, she will.
What? You live in a delusion.
I'm not.
You live in a dream world.
I'm not.
You live in a delusion. You live in a dream world. You're not on Earth. That's not how that works.
That's exactly.
Now, at the same time, she won. She won because that guy doesn't have the friendship circle. That guy doesn't have the relationships in his life. That guy may even have the father to have him grow a pair of balls and leave the situation. That shit will never be fixed because prior to marriage, he has leverage. After marriage, he loses leverage. And now he's locked into her. And he laughed like a simp the entire way when the vows were said. The entire way. He has no idea what he's in store for. She has a tyrant mouth. And she has no respect for him, but she wants the wedding. Absolutely. If you really think that it's going to get better when after he loses leverage, you are absolutely insane, mama. You live in a dream world, a world that's not of reality.
The incentive is to care. That's the incentive. Her love for him, if it's there, that's the incentive to care because you wouldn't disrespect someone you care about. That's a human thing. That's having nature. That's being careful. I'm not in a delusion. My mom taught me to care about people and to respect people. I grew up with cousins, pastor cousins who will sit there and tell you women do never tear down a man. I grew up at that. So when I say if she cares about him, she will talk to him because if he expresses that that was a joke, you might have took that as a joke, but I didn't. If she
Baby girl.
Let me finish, please, before you cut me off.
Go ahead.
I'm saying that the incentive should have been if he feels disrespected, because I saw the video, it was a little jokey joke, it was laughing. I'm saying it was laughing. I'm giving the person the benefit of doubt. Yes, it was disrespectful. Yes, it should have. There's always a time and a place for a joke. That joke did not go over well. I am saying that if the woman,
a joke.
Let me finish, please. I know you're getting angry.
This is the modern woman's sister code. This is the sister code because she's joking on her wedding day in front of the pastor after they went through counseling for the same thing during your wedding vows. You joke on the most important day of your life. You joke. You give her reprieve for joking and the benefit of the doubt in lieu of him. That's the sister code. Y'all are looking at it live and direct. That's the sister code.
You didn't
No
even
matter
let me
what it is
finish.
that men say, they will always defend each other.
Let me.
They will just say, "Oh, it was just a joke." All jokes that are funny are based in 90% truths, mama.
That's what I'm
If you think that
saying.
was a joke, you are absent. You are the sister code. You're enveloped.
Can
You're enveloped. And even
can I
though you say
finish?
all of these things about respecting men, you don't
Can
have
I
it within your
finish?
soul. No, listen, you don't have it within your soul. You don't respect men. You respect men when the times are good. But when the times are not good, you disrespect the fuck out of men. I
How do you
guarantee it.
know?
You don't. No, you don't love men down to your soul because you would have just as much empathy for him as you have for her.
But
You have no empathy for him.
I
That
said,
was not a joke.
let me
Men
say
like me
this.
are not taking that shit. We're
And
not taking that shit as a
and that's
joke.
what and let
We're taking that shit for
and I
real.
said, okay. And then you know what happens after we get that? We have a discussion like adults. If you come up to me and I said something that I in my mind thought was a joke and you were offended by it, you made it clear that you were offended by what I said, that it's up to me that if I cared about you enough, my incentive is my love for you. If you said that that offended me, then me as a woman, me as your wife, me as someone who loves you, will sit there and say, I apologize and let's move forward. I have a problem with that word obedience. I have that problem with the word submission because of daddy issues, because I didn't see it benefited in the other women in my life. Therefore, if I care about you and I understand that you did not find that funny, that you did not find that a joke, then me as a woman who loves you and my love and my care for you is incentive, then I will be adult enough to have that conversation and I will be adult enough to apologize. That's where that comes in. That's why I said, what happens after the anger? Do we sit down as adults and talk about it and unpack the trauma? Or are we still going to yell at each other and be mad at each other? That's the difference, because you have to sit down as an adult and say, hey, this bothers me. Okay, as an adult, I have to respond, because that's how you do proper communication. It's not about, oh, I'm mad, not about, oh, I disrespect men. If my man tells me that I am uncomfortable with something, then me as a woman will sit down and talk to him and unpack that, period. If I come to my man and I say, you know what, I joke about submission, I joke about obedience, and he comes to me and says, oh, I don't find that funny. I, as a traditional man, value leadership. You know what? Then I'll sit there and unpack with him the trauma and sit down and unpack with him how I did not see submission benefit any woman in my life. If that is happening, if that is a trauma response, because like you said, there's always a little truth behind every joke. That's why I talked about trauma. That's why I brought up love and hip hop. You have to be mature enough to talk to him. That's why I kept saying talk, because there's care in that. That's why I say that. And I'm not saying that she's right. I'm not saying that it was I'm not saying that. I am saying for that man, if that man comes up to her and says after that, hey, I don't like how this went down, then her as a woman with the incentive of her love and the value of that union, the value of that man, will sit down and talk to her and sit down and unpack that. Because that's what people do. That's what marriage is about. If you hear marriage and you hear anyone talk about marriage, they always talk about communication. Why? Because we're human. We're going to mess up. We're going to fuck up. That's just inevitable. But you as a human being who loves someone has to be able to sit down and talk with them about everything and anything. So that's not delusional.
Yeah. Okay. First, are you married?
No.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Are you single?
Yes.
Okay. So everything that you say is just
That's just
theory.
Well, not even theory. That's what I hear from married couples, how I hear them talk about their success in marriage. Like communication is always key in whatever relationship. Even with my girlfriends and they have boyfriends, communication is always key. That always happens. Like if you can't talk to your partner, why are you with them?
Okay. And I said before that you live in a delusion, and after hearing you talk, I still think that you live in a delusion. Which is why I'm doing this live right now. Because this is scary. This is how our young people think. 23 years old.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Modern woman finger wagging.
Oh, I was just
at the screen
because
as she's talking to me. Someone who's damn near twice her age. talking to me as if I'm a child. Your degree of modern woman is ridiculous. Your degree of thinking that communication is going to solve their issues after they've gone through marriage counseling, to the point where the pastor called her out to say, no, we talked about this. We talked about this. And in the middle of her ceremony, she reneged. She reneged on the contract. But the sister code has been put into your soul through little bits of content, whether it be through Disney, whether it be through Oprah, whether it be through Barbie, whether it be through whatever woke ass bullshit that doesn't introduce reality to you, doesn't allow you to see that, and just thinks that, well, if she loves him, she'll just figure it out with him because communication is key. He lost his leverage. There was not a person in there that was writing for that young man. I feel bad for him. If anybody knows him, tell the man to send me a message. Send me a message. Because the lack of empathy that you have for him, men have to have for ourselves. We have to. Because y'all don't have it for us. We're cannon fodder to modern women. Cannon fodder. Cannon fodder. Cannon fodder. What she did was so disrespectful. Why get married in a church? Why? Don't get married in a church with a pastor. Because you're doing it under God. Don't get married there. Go to Vegas, where you don't have to say no obey shit. They did marriage counseling with a pastor under God, and she reneged in front of millions. Huh? How could you defend that? Oh, because of the trauma that she experienced, and we just don't know. Oh, if he just communicates, huh? He had the simp beta laugh his way through the rest of that ceremony.